All right. Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be doing a little something different. I got my friend here. Me and him have had like debates on a whole bunch of anime conversations before, and we thought that it'd be interesting to get some community feedback if it ends up reaching out that far. Today we're going to be talking about why I can't stand Minato. I think Minato's pretty trash.
Lame.
And he's going to try to convince me otherwise. We're going to try to turn this into a little bit of a series where we try to convince each other to like characters that the other person doesn't like. We have a couple of other ideas. He has a couple more ideas than I do. But the way that this is going to work this time until we get to a more like consistent format is I have a list of points and he's going to try to refute them. And we'll just kind of go from there. This is going to be kind of more of a podcast type video where it's not really meant for you to watch, especially considering the mess that you see behind me. But if you want to, cool. We'll probably put some thumbnails on the screen and like to show what's going on or maybe reference what's being talked about, etc., etc. But I have a list of things that I'm going to go over on my phone and we're going to get started. So the first thing that I got is the initial premise for people who may not understand is that I don't think Minato is as great as everybody says that he is. He gets he gets an unusual amount of glaze, like Itachi level glaze, and Itachi's another character that I think is overrated, but
Wrong.
So the first reason that I have is this is the one that I've brought up in the past to a lot of my friends that gets the most like hate. So we're gonna start off there. Minato had no reason to die. Minato had no reason to die in the Nine Tails invasion. He outsmarted Obito. He beat Obito's Kamui. He dealt with he had the ability to deal with the Nine Tails and didn't. And he's supposed to be the person who has the highest scores on the training exams ever. And that just doesn't make any sense.
So you're saying he wasn't able to do everything that he was supposed to do in that situation. Are we forgetting the fact that he also had to spend time and chakra on all the seals that were in place for the birth of Naruto?
My problem with that is that so we have to use. So I'm using hindsight a little bit here. So we saw that nerfed Minato because the Edo Tensei nerfs people. Was able to get to the battlefield before Tobirama, Hashirama, and the Third Hokage, and teleport a Biju Bomb from the Ten Tails, and then get to the battlefield all before the Biju Bomb even finished this teleportation. Right? And you telling me he couldn't teleport Kushina away from danger and have anybody else finish that process? You tell me the fastest man in the series couldn't have anybody else finish that process for him. And then on top of that, if he would have dealt with Obito and the Nine Tails in the way that I think he should have, he wouldn't have needed to even do that. So my thing is this, right? We know that the Ten Tails is much stronger than the Nine Tails, right? So he teleports Kurama away. And I know that won't be easy because Kurama's going to try to attack, blah, blah, blah. I get that. But he teleports Kurama away. He dealt with Obito in what? Like 60 seconds?
Probably not even that.
Yeah. So, boom. Kurama dealt with. Obito dealt with. Then go to finish the situation with Kushina. Problem solved. You don't, and then on top of that, he had, and I know this is a big plot hole, he has Sage Mode. So, and he literally, people like to say, oh, he uses the fact that Jiraiya, he's not good at Sage Mode. My man, he blinked and there was perfect Sage Mode in the war. So even if you're not good at it, you're better than Naruto is. And Naruto used it in the fight. So I understand. You're saying he had to put an enormous amount of chakra into Kushina's seal for Naruto's birth. I get that. But do you disagree that if he would have dealt with Obito and Kurama in the way that we know he should have been able to, that this wouldn't have happened. And on top of that, and I'm not saying this is all Minato's fault. Where was Hiruzen during this?
Okay, so before I get to that Hiruzen part, do you really believe that in that state of labor, that it would have been safe to travel Kushina with that teleportation jutsu, which can physically affect people? It's not easy for somebody to like go through it. That's why it takes 3 of the regular motherfuckers to actually do that shit. So, do you think that would have been a good idea to take her during that labor when she's extremely weak? Not only that, but everything was in place so that there should have been no way anybody would get on it. If any normal person would have actually came up there, they would have been able to handle that immediately. But Obito had Kamui, so that was a cheat code. So, there should have been no reason anybody should have snuck on them in the first place. So when Obito does show up, Minos was like, the fuck is this?
Okay, that's fair, because I like Kushina being in labor is like, that is important. That's important to kind of take into consideration. But she's also in Uzumaki. So she is an Uzumaki, right? I'm not like, yeah. She is. She's also.
That's really the only reason she was even able to survive.
Okay, cool. But if she's an Uzumaki and they are known to have massive amounts of chakra and stuff like that, I think she would have been able to BR. She might have been a little. Okay, that's kind of fucked up. Hold on. All right. Look, we're getting a little sidetracked, but hear me out here, right?
Mm.
Kushina died anyway.
Yes. But that wasn't in the game plan.
Okay, make it the game plan. She's gonna die. She died anyway. So teleport her away where Obito has to do a little bit more to find her. And the Kamui, that is a cheat code. I understand. He can just teleport to wherever he wants. But he would have to know where Kushina is. Like, that's important. Like, he can't just... Mm-hmm. Like, he knew where she was because he used to be in the village. If he teleports her to one of the mini kunai he has, you telling me he went and picked up all of the kunai from the third Great Ninja War? No. Teleport to one of those kunai, any of them. You're good to go. Whether she survives, that's hit or miss. But that actually leads to my second point. If he would have dealt with Obito and Kurama, why did he wouldn't have needed the seals for Kushina to begin with? If I haven't watched this part of Naruto in a long time, so correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. But the seals was for the I can't remember the process called.
What seals are we talking about? You're not talking about when she was giving birth to Naruto, right?
Yeah, I thought that was for. I can't remember the name of the process. Because wasn't they going to put the 9 tails in her? But then something happened, and...
No, she already had the 9 tails. The seals were to keep the 9 tails chakra from leaking out so he wouldn't start the rampage that, of course, Obito had him start anyway.
Oh, yeah, okay, I did forget
that. Was to protect everyone.
All right, cool. All right. That changed my philosophy.
Yeah. And also, let me throw in another part here where you were talking about why didn't he just go to Kushina. You're also forgetting the part where Obito straight up had Naruto as a hostage. It was like, yeah, I'm going to kill your son.
Teleport.
How's he going to teleport? Well, okay, look. In that moment, again, he shouldn't have been there. That was caught off guard. Now he has your son. You're not going to think straight immediately during all this process.
You're supposed to be a genius. Itachi was able to think straight during the massacre and keep Sasuke alive.
Yeah, you can be a genius, but you're still human. You're still susceptible to emotions. You see your newborn child that just came out the womb, now all of a sudden he's about to get stabbed in the face?
Nah, no.
That can throw off anyone.
No, because you're assuming that Minato has no like travel speed. Like at all. How fast Minato is even without his teleportation, I promise you, he would have been able to get to Obito way quicker than Obito would have been able to stab Naruto. I'm positive about that. All right,
I forgot exactly how the scene plays out, but I know he had to get to Naruto, like try to obviously to separate them, and then of course he had all the bombs strapped to Naruto. Which meant, oh shit, this is going to blow up everything in here. He teleported them away from everyone to a random location where no one was at. So there's going to be no casualties. Quickly get that shit off, go somewhere else so they're not caught in that particular blast. And that's how he saves Naruto. But he had to do all that, which gave Obito that opening. All right, we can just calmly Kushina, get the fuck up out of here.
Why you didn't use a shadow clone?
I wouldn't have time to do all that. Split second thinking?
What you mean?
With split second thinking?
Nah, you can't. No.
Split second thinking and emotional distress.
No, you're giving him excuses. Use a shadow clone. Then you can do both those things while protecting Kushina and getting Naruto to safety at the same time. Granted, the shadow clone would be weaker, but he beat Obito so badly, I don't think the shadow clone would be weak enough to give Obito the advantage. Nah, that's checkmate. Like, why didn't he use a shadow clone? One. We know he can do at least like 5, 6 because of what he did in the war. One shadow clone. You have to be able to do that to pass the entrance exam to begin with.
Yeah.
So we know he can do at least one. One shadow clone is enough. Boom. Problem. And then even if it's not enough to completely resolve the situation, right? It's enough to stall Obito enough for you to get Naruto to safety.
Because he hadn't thought of all that shit.
So he's not as smart as people keep saying he is. Itachi was able to do things like that. And Itachi gets less glaze than he do. Like, the shadow clone is checkmate. Because you're saying, like, oh, he didn't think to do that because of the moment. Which I'm not taking away from him. You have some psychopath strapped bombs to your newborn son.
Yes.
Like, I get that. I understand that. That's a lot. And then your wife's in labor. Your wife's also, was in labor. Your wife also is having a 9 tails extracted from her, which is usually a fatal process. So a lot's going on. I get that. You're a tactical genius. You're supposed to be the smartest person who has ever taken your tuning exams. You're supposed to be just ghosts. Don't make decisions that lead to your wife, you, and Naruto having the upbringing that he did. Because if he would have just made a shadow clone or dealt with the 9 tails in a more efficient way, which I will admit that I'm having, now that you reminded me the sequence of events, that might not have been as easy as I initially expected it to be. So I will concede there. But I still think that shadow clones makes a lot of the inconsistencies in my plan a lot easier to resolve. Like, okay, you have a shadow clone dealing with the 9 tails. We know you can deal with the 9 tails because you dealt with a 10 tails Biju bomb that was probably intending to kill everybody while nerfed. And I know people say, oh, Minato is one of the people who got stronger due to the reanimation, but that's because we got to see him use Sage mode and KCM mode, not because of the fact that he was just stronger off rip. We haven't seen anybody just be stronger off rip unless they got an ability that they didn't get to use while they was alive. So it's like, he had Shadow Clones. Mm-hmm. He could have used Shadow Clones to either stall Obito, stall Kurama, and get Naruto to safety at the same time. And that's kind of important. Like, that, given all the circumstances that he's dealing with, I can understand how he makes mistakes. But people act like he's just some tactical genius who can do no wrong when this proves that he can. So he's not the GOAT. Hashirama wouldn't have made decisions like that. Hashirama lost plenty of clansmates, plenty of his family members died fighting the strongest person in the series outside of maybe Kaguya and the Otsutsuki. And he was still able to think of better decisions than that. But we classify Minato as being the GOAT.
In the case of Hashirama, he's allowed to make decisions like that because he can't really die.
Yes, he died.
Look, we already mentioned that. That's bullshit.
And
we all know it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. He died.
It's bullshit.
Can you prove that it's bullshit?
Yes.
How?
How the fuck did he die?
It doesn't matter how he died. He died.
That's because what they said was he died in battle. Who the fuck killed him?
What if one of the Otsutsuki's came back and killed him?
Bullshit.
We know in Boruto they can travel through time.
Then I need somebody to say that. And at that point, okay, I'll be fine with him dying then.
Yeah, okay.
Because as it stands right now, I've never been fine with that man dying. Because how the fuck can anybody kill him?
What if he just died due to old age?
Yeah, but they specifically said somewhere, I think in like a dad book or something, that he died in battle.
He could have died in battle due to old age.
And also, how's he going to die of old age? He's borderline immortal.
No. See, people think that just because you have Hashirama cells, you all of a sudden can't die. That's not... Hashirama, quite literally, because of the way that his cells work, if we take his cells to real world like scenarios, Hashirama quite literally has like stage 4 cancer. we know that's true because his cells quite literally rapidly multiply to heal himself. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah.
Isn't that how cancer kills you?
What about Tsunade?
What about? I genuinely don't understand the connection. What about?
She's her granddaughter.
And?
She's his granddaughter. So she has kind of like that same thing where she heals, right?
And you notice that she's using the 100 healings to stay young, even though she's only, what, like 30?
Oh, she's just doing that for aesthetically pleasing skills.
Or the fact that her cancer is making her look a lot older than she actually is, and she wants to look beautiful.
Yeah, that's just her being banned.
It doesn't matter.
But the point is how long she's lived.
Okay, we got to find a baseline then. What do you think the average expected life expectancy? I don't know why I said it like that. What do you think the life expectancy is of a ninja in the Naruto world?
Shit, depending on the time period you're in, considering Hashirama's time period, fucking 13.
Okay, cool. So, but Hashirama was not a part of that time period. Not Hashirama. Tsunade was not a part of that time period. Tsunade, I think, participated in the third Great Ninja War, if I remember. Or was it the second?
She was in a third.
It was the second. So,
damn, she skipped third.
I think she was
scared of blood.
Yeah. So the second Great Ninja War, I think, and we know that she was young because of the that's where they got the legendary signing like title and stuff from. So, at least I think
they got it from when they fought Hanzo. They didn't exactly beat Hanzo, but they gave him so much of a good fight that it was like, yeah, you guys deserve respect. I'm calling you the 3 legendary ninja.
They was young.
Yeah.
So how old do you think Tsunade is right now?
I think somewhere it actually said that she's supposed to be in her 60s or her 50s. It's somewhere.
So she's living a normal life, except you're acting like she's like 175 years old. She's 60.
How old is Hashirama?
He. No, you moved on to Tsunade. So let's talk about Tsunade. Tsunade isn't that old. So she could very still have cancer. So he could have very well died as a direct result of the way that his body works. So he might not have actually needed to be killed in battle. He could have just died while in battle as a result of cancer. And I know that's a cop-out, but we don't have any other explanation for why he may have died. And it doesn't change the fact that that has nothing to do with Minato.
You're right. We got way off track here.
Yeah. All right, look. All right, cool. First point. I will concede dealing with Kurama probably wouldn't have been as easy as I initially expected when we started this video. But do you concede that one shadow clone would have solved a lot of his problems?
Logically, in terms of like an actual strategy, yes, that would have been a good idea.
Okay.
I was only arguing the fact that it would have been hard to think about that shit on the fly with everything happening.
I can't be in 2 places at once. Yeah, I can. You tell me that would be hard.
Also, who's to say he wasn't actually thinking ahead on that? So this random person could do all this. It must be a pretty big threat. Maybe he's actually trying to conserve chakra because shadow clones take out a large amount of chakra. And yes, Minato actually does have a pretty decent sized pool of chakra. But again, with the factor of the seals and everything from labor, that's kind of affecting him. So he might be thinking, I don't know like how much I'm gonna need right now. So let's try to conserve where I can, just in case shit gets really bad.
Yeah, but then you have to take into consideration that he gets into stage mode. There's too many things stacked against Minato in this situation.
Yes, he could have used that. I kind of put this pin more on Kishimoto and his writing.
Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't separate it from the character.
But I know, I know what you're saying on that.
Alright, cool. Alright, next thing. We kind of went over that because I was going to say he's not the greatest Hokage. But I kind of want to actually harp on that because you mentioned that he's the greatest Hokage. And I don't know if that was a joke.
When I say he's the greatest Hokage in that sense, I'm not saying like based on actual Hokage, like all the feats of what they did as Hokage, anything like that, or that he's the strongest one. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he's the best one purely based on like personal standards. Like that's my favorite.
Personal standards as in
that's my favorite.
Okay, cool. Okay, this is gonna be a two-parter. I'm gonna try to convince you otherwise.
Good luck with that.
So what about Minato makes him your favorite?
Do you not see this man's drip? This man is a fucking drip god, okay? What other Hokage did it like that?
Kakashi.
And who trained him?
Exactly.
Exactly.
No, you tell me.
The copy ninja used his Sharingan and Minato was like, damn, I need that. And then he took it and used it on himself. And you know the best part about that is? That's partly canon.
What do you mean it's partly canon?
Where do you think Chori came from? Him trying to copy his drip. Oh, that man got Rasengan? Let me get that.
Nah. And then, okay. Jokes aside, he didn't train him on drip.
He did. He helped them refine that drip.
Okay, cool. Then why didn't he do that to Obito to stop the war?
Obito had drip.
Okay, cool. But, like, he learned that after. Did you see how he was dressing up in the beginning?
That's different.
No,
Obito, hold on. Because Obito didn't have a Sharingan yet. So he couldn't copy the drip like that.
Kakashi's Sharingan is from Obito.
Yes.
Meaning, if Kakashi copied Minato's drip, that means Obito would have had to awaken his Sharingan.
But
right?
Kakashi's also a talent.
That has nothing to do with... No. If you... Are we really talking about this? So, if Minato, if you're claiming that Kakashi copied Minato's drip with the Sharingan, but Kakashi's Sharingan is from Obito, that means Obito had to have awakened his Sharingan already for Kakashi to have copied Minato.
Mm-hmm.
So, meaning Obito should have been able to copy Minato's drip. And he dressed like that.
So, do you want to know what the fun part is?
Mm-hmm.
What happened after Obito got a Sharingan?
He didn't die immediately.
Borderline, yes, he did. That was all in the same time period. He got it in that fight. That's when the rock slide happened. He got Kakashi out of the way. He gave him his eye. Now, let's take that. Let's fast forward real quick. There's the shit that happened with Rin. And he unlocked the Mangekyo. He was seeing through the eye what was happening, right? So that means he could see what Kakashi was seeing. So, when Kakashi's getting older and is copying Minato's drip, who's copying it also vicariously? Obito. And you want to know what happened when Obito pulled up on the village? Dripped. It was subtle, but it was dripped. That man came in with the cool-ass mask and the chains. He was there to fuck shit up and get bitches. Why? Copied his swag.
That's the most bullshit argument I've ever heard. You get my fucking nerves. Do you have a reason that's not drip related? Because I'm not entertaining this anymore.
Okay, so I still do really like the style, all jokes aside and everything, especially with the kunai and everything. His skill set, to me, I like more than any of the other Hokages.
He has two moves.
He has plenty more than that. We just never get to see it, unfortunately.
He uses 2 moves. He uses Flying Raijin, which is he known for, and the Rasengan.
And see, we're not going to use that excuse because Kakashi only uses fucking Raikiri.
And Kakashi, oh my god, Kakashi's a fraud. We can talk about that in another episode.
Everybody loves Kakashi, though. I love Kakashi.
And I don't. He's on my list. Kakashi's a fraud. So
I have to be back for that one. But anyway.
So
yeah, I love him. He's great.
Okay, cool.
He only uses 2 jutsu out of the 1,000 that he supposedly copied.
And he's supposed to be just genius with the most versatile set. And like, my main thing for this entire discussion is that Minato gets a level of hype that he does not deserve, no matter which way you look at it. If you look at it from Hokage, he didn't accomplish the most as a Hokage because of Hashirama. If you look at it from terms of skill set, every Hokage, with the exception of Naruto and Tsunade, has more versatility than him. If you look at it from the terms of decision-making skills, I would argue Hashirama and Tobirama are a little bit better than them. The only thing that I can give Minato is that he refined the Flying Raijin to a point where he basically made it his own move. Because Tobirama was like, yeah, you're just better than me at it. And then even if Tobirama didn't say that, we can clearly see that he's way better than him at it. So it's like, you have the right to your opinion. I'm not trying to convince you that your opinion is wrong. But I just want to see, can I convince you that he's not the GOAT? He's one of the greatest. I just don't think he's the GOAT. He's like third. If I was to rank it in terms of Hokage specifically, it would go Hashirama, Sasuke as Shadow Hokage. Because Sasuke is not a Hokage, but Sasuke has been doing Hokage level work post-war.
See, that part confuses me, and also the part that I thought you hated Sasuke.
I do, but I can acknowledge greatness when I see it.
Okay.
And then it would probably be Minato. Because, again, I want to emphasize this for y'all. I'm not saying Sasuke's Hokage, but there's a reason why people keep calling him the Shadow Hokage. Because he's basically a Hokage. That's my list. Let's break it down a little bit. If we talk about in terms of what they accomplished as Hokage, Minato wasn't alive long enough to, as a Hokage, for this to be fair. So I'm not gonna really harp on it too long. But Hashirama created the ninja world, essentially, right? He brought 2 rival clans, the strongest clans in the series at the time, probably top 3 to date, together in peace and harmony. He was able to foster peace. He was able to get he had all of the tailed beasts as pets and distributed it around the world to make sure that no one felt like the Hidden Leaf was just some monopoly on power. He did everything he could to make the ninja world a better place, fair, and balanced. And until Obito and kind of Madara and Zetsu and all that jazz, it took like 4 people planning for decades to break what he did apart. No one can argue that Hashirama isn't like the most successful Hokage. And people try to say that Naruto is. Naruto is literally Hashirama, but he's using the fact that no one can stop him as a deterrent for doing anything wrong. Pre-Boruto. We don't discuss Boruto on the channel. It's like, oh, you gonna stop me? The 2 strongest people on the planet is me and my best friend. I dare you to do something. So he didn't accomplish the same things that Hashirama accomplished. Tobirama is probably the most failed Hokage, debatable with Hiruzen. So that's the reason why they're not in the list. Tsunade,
I don't think Tsunade really did anything.
Yeah, she don't count. Then
she helped rebuild things after Orochimaru fucked everything up, but other than that,
she kept a lot of people alive in pain.
Well, yeah,
and the war, she kept a lot of people alive. She did her job as a healer.
Yeah,
and she was about that life. She did run up on Minato, so she got folded, but she did run up. So that's the reason why, I'm it's not me. I know throughout the years I may seem like I'm being biased. This is the unbiased version. He's probably third, but I just think Hashirama's better. And that could be me being biased because he is my favorite Kage. Not Hokage, Kage. He's my favorite Kage, period. But let's look at the, you know, the accolades of what they've done and what their moveset. And then now, if we move on to the moveset, do we even need to have that discussion? Hashirama has a broken moveset. And it's the most versatile moveset out of anybody in the series. And he doesn't have any Sharingan or Renegon or anything like that. He got pure talent.
Well, he is a member of one of the all-time strongest clans to ever exist. Whereas Minato's literally just a random fucking dude who just picked up a knife one day. Is like, I'm gonna cut people.
The Namikaze clan is one of the greatest sealing clans ever.
Says who? They're not anything really.
Oh, they're known for the body flipper technique. I got that messed up. So even his own jutsu ain't even something special. Because now, if you're saying, oh, Hashirama got the his moveset is mainly because of the fact that he's from the Senju clan. Well, Minato is from the clan that is known for the body flicker technique. That one.
Yes, but the body flicker technique isn't that impressive.
What do you mean? It's the entire reason he's even relevant as a ninja.
No, because everybody can basically do it.
To his extent?
Not exactly to his extent.
The only person who comes close is Shisui.
He doesn't really, he uses it, but he doesn't fully use it. He's more known for the flying Raijin. They're two separate things.
I understand that, but you gotta realize that Minato was impressive even before he developed, learned the flying Raijin technique. And it was because of his speed. I know his flee on sight order wasn't because of the flying, the body flicker technique. I'm not saying that. But Minato was impressive even as a Jonin.
Mm-hmm.
Before he had the flying Raijin technique.
Yeah.
It's probably because of the body flicker. I have no evidence to support that, so I understand that this is a weak argument for me to have. But, blaming it on the clan, saying Hashirama's power set is a direct result of him being part of the strongest clan is not fair, because everybody's part of the clan. A clan of some kind. It's like, you can't separate a Senju from the Senju clan, just like you can't separate Minato from what he does and what his clan does.
Yeah, but if your clan is extremely revered with a bunch of the strongest people, there's got to be some sort of bias.
Name one other Senju that's important or has done anything impressive that's not Tobirama, and I would argue Tobirama is a joke compared to all of the other Hokage. Because Toriyama is just racist and made a couple forbidden jutsu, but that's all he's done. He's not Hashirama literally flexed and shut Tobirama down in the Uchiha Hado. So outside of Hashirama, name another Senju who has done anything, who has any remarkable accolades.
See, we can't because Kishimoto never gave us any names of any of those Senju, but we know that the Senju clan was that good because anytime during that Warring States period, if anybody had any issues, they would call either the Uchiha or the Senju. And literally the opposite person's only choice was to get the opposite clan because no one else was going to beat that. The minute anybody decided, okay, I'm going to hire the Uchiha, you have to hire the Senju or else the other clans are going to get slaughtered. Those are the only two on each other's level. So which meant they were way higher than any other clans. If you could afford them, you were set.
Could it also be the fact that the Namikaze clan may not have been as fleshed out yet? Because, and what I mean by that is, the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan could have possibly been around a lot longer than the Namikaze clan or the Hyuga clan or anything like that. So could it be that they just didn't have any options? It could have literally been that they just didn't have any options. What if those were the only options in the reef, right? So what I'm saying is, there's a possibility that had the Namikaze clan been around as long as the Senju and the Uchiha, which I don't have any evidence on how long it's been around, but just follow me here. Mm-hmm. If they've been around for as long as the Senju and the Uchiha, what if they would have been revered? Minato could have very well been a threat. I would argue Minato probably would have been a threat during that time period if he was there. My thing, would he have been a threat to Madara and Hashirama? No. But he would have been the third. And at that point, the Namikaze clan would be at the same reverence as do Uchiha and Senju, just slightly under, kind of. Like my thing is, we've known about, because you say that we don't know any of the Senjus to say any of them have done anything impressive. My thing is, well, we also don't know any Namikaze to say if they would have done anything impressive. Like, I'm just basically saying the opposite of your argument is true, where like there's too many unknowns for us to be able to say, oh, whether this clan would be impressive or whether that clan would be impressive without the top dogs. Would Uchiha really be impressive if you didn't have Obito and Madara? Or and Natasha? Yeah. I would argue not. The only, outside of those three, Obito, Madara, Itachi, Fugaku was compared to Minato. So that automatically makes him not top tier. Because while Minato is top tier, he is not Madara or Obito top tier. Like, not in the series, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But then we have, oh yeah, Sasuke. I don't know how I forgot Sasuke.
But see, also, they've had generations and generations and generations of like elite ninjas from both sides of Senju and Uchiha. So that's why it makes sense for them. Even in their times, the other big clans, you had the Akamichi clan. They're not doing shit to either one of them.
Yeah, because that clan is trash.
You've got the Hyuga clan. Weren't really doing shit to any of them. Like, we had other big clans, but even those big clans weren't doing shit to the Senju or the Uchiha. And then, let's bring it back to Minato for a second. We still never heard anything ever at all about the clan. We've heard them even say in the Leaf Village, oh, the top clans, we got the Senju, the Uchiha, the Akamichi, the Hyuga, the Aorabe clan. Never once did they say shit about the Namikaze clan. Because they don't really do anything in the village. The only one that you know of, Minato. And it was even stated at one point, the reason Fugaku was mad that he didn't get the title of Fourth Hokage is he lost to Minato, who wasn't even in a revered clan. That would tell you right there that even the village does not give a fuck too much about the Namikaze clan. They're apparently just fodder.
Okay, that's a fair point. I concede there. But as far as I concede in terms of the Namikaze clan not being as, like, not having anything, and saying that Hashirama being a Senju kind of does give him an edge. But my counterpoint to that, so I'm conceding that, like, Hashirama being a Senju, like, it definitely plays a factor. But can we also concede the fact that most of Hashirama's best feats is a direct result of his Sage Mode? That's not related to him being a Senju. And on top of that, Minato also has Sage Mode. Mm-hmm. So that's something that we can compare directly to one another. And you're not going to look me in the face and tell me Minato is better than Hashirama at Sage Mode.
No.
So, yeah, he can't do, to my knowledge, because we never seen it happen, he can't use the 1,000-arm Buddha statue, whatever jazz, that nonsense, without Sage Mode. The wooden dragon, I think he can use without Sage Mode, yes. But I don't think he can use the wooden golem without Sage Mode, because I don't think we've seen him do that either.
Yes, I think he can.
Okay, if he can, that pales in comparison to the I'm gonna win the game button as an 1,000-arm Buddha statue. When he uses that, he basically just wins.
Yeah.
So, like, it's, I don't know. This is one of my weak arguments, so I will say you got that there, because him being a Senju is important. But, like, his toolkit is just Flying Raijin and Rasengan. And
Flying Raijin, Rasengan, Shadow Clones, Sage Mode.
You don't get to use Shadow Clones, because if you use Shadow Clones, then he should have fucking used it against Obito in the argument that we had earlier.
We're already on that. I already said strategically, yes, that makes sense. But anyway, I'm still throwing it in there for the list of stuff that he can do.
Okay, Shadow Clones, you still can't. I'm not done. The Shadow Clones you still can't use, because you have to be able to do that to pass the exams. You literally can't graduate without using Shadow Clones.
Yes, but he can actually use Shadow Clones. Not everybody can just use them.
Kakashi can do it. He can do lightning clones.
But hold on, because I just remember something key important here. The entrance exam was not the shadow clone technique. It was just a regular clone technique. Yeah, anybody can do that. Nobody gives a fuck about it. They're not physical clones. They can't do anything. It's just, hey, I'm a distraction. Shadow clone was a Jonin level forbidden jutsu. That actually
because when Naruto stole the scroll, yeah,
it took me a moment because
we should have rewatched Naruto before we had this conversation.
I still remember a good amount of stuff. Not everything, though, clearly. But
okay, so Flying Regent, Rasengan, Shadow Clones,
yep.
Toad Sage.
Yeah, I gotta specify the Toad Sage because every stage is different.
Okay. What else?
A shit ton of sealing jutsus. We know he has them. We've never seen them, so
another defective strategic decision, but okay.
We didn't have enough time.
So he has. Sure, he did. So he has 5 moves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Good about characters.
Yeah. Okay. For example, with Hashirama, I get what you're saying. He has way more.
I wasn't even going to use Hashirama. I swear to God. I was going to use Senju, but I wasn't going to use Hashirama. I'm going to use Togurama. Someone I can't stand and hate and think is garbage.
He's a really good kid, too.
Yeah, the Flying Regent he made. So, like, that's Minato stole that. He did.
He improved it also.
He did. I'm not going to lie. He did. But he didn't create it.
Mm-hmm.
So, he Goku'd it, where he just took it.
Yeah.
So, he, Flying Regent, the 10-ton exploding faith bombs. This man made a perpetual explosion machine. That is physically impossible in reality. So that's impressive. He made the reanimation jutsu, which is probably his biggest blunder because it led to the 4th Great Ninja War. But
yeah,
he made that. That's probably one of the strongest jutsus ever. Because the stronger the enemies are, the stronger the people are during that era, the stronger that jutsu becomes. So yeah, and he made a dumb weakness. Why would you hold up, side tangent? Why would you make it where someone can make it where they're just not associated with the jutsu anymore and just immortal? Tobirama is a
I don't think he did that on purpose. I think Madara was just that fucking good.
No. He said that it was designed that way.
Did he say that?
He basically was like, there's one way, killing the caster, no. Because we know killing the caster won't stop the reanimation jutsu. Making the caster undo it, he said that's not the only way to stop, to break the jutsu. He was like, if you know the hand signs for the jutsu, you can release yourself. Basically, where you no longer associate with jutsu and now you have an immortal body. He was saying that to the Kage. So it's like, if you have to know the signs for the jutsu, Tobirama had to have made it that way. And I'm assuming he tried to make it as a safety thing, but there's no way for that to be a safety thing because it only helps the people being brought back from the dead.
Okay, first of all, that's really stupid. Second of all, that makes him really stupid.
Tobirama?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, so hold on. Chunin exams. Orochimaru attacks. He uses the jutsu. He brings back Tobirama. Tobirama is still aware because he hasn't been...
No, don't forget, Orochimaru was very imperfect. They were quite literally just zombies.
Okay, I could also just blame this, again, like I did earlier, on Kishimoto and his writing failures. But what was still stopping him from trying?
Tobirama?
Yes.
The fact that he was a zombie. He quite literally wasn't even conscious.
Yeah, he was.
Nah.
When they first came out the thing, because they even had a full-blown conversation with Hiruzen and everything. Like, they were not under the brain control yet until Orochimaru slid the fucking kunais into their skulls. That's when they became a zombie. So before that, why didn't he just...
I'm gonna use your explanation. He didn't think about it in time. And that's actually valid because of the fact that there was no pressure. They didn't know what was going on. He didn't know that he was about to be used for evil. So, but fair point. But I'm not arguing. I hate Tobirama. So, yeah. Okay, back to the original point. He has the flying Rajin, which he created. He has the tantrum paper bombs. He has the reanimation jutsu. He has all of those water style jutsus that he has. He has weird subcategories for the flying Rajin that he was able to use at Minato. So he has just as diverse of an arsenal as Minato, but like, because you gotta remember a couple of the things that you mentioned for Minato, which is power aims. Sage mode is just a power aim. Shadow Clone Jutsu technically is a nerf if you unless you're fighting someone who's not that much stronger than you. So it's like, whereas everything that I just mentioned from Tobirama is actually versatile, different, and can be applied in a whole bunch of different scenarios. Whereas, and I want to mention this because I don't want you using the Senju. Tobirama's ass. So we're not even saying, oh, the Senju clan isn't involved in this.
I mean, I don't say Tobirama's ass. Like as a fighter, I think Tobirama's pretty good.
Ass.
I think he's pretty good.
We can talk about.
I think Minato's better personally.
I would agree. But
I don't think he's bad.
Oh, we have so many conversations. Okay, look, we went over those two things. There's one other thing that I wanted to get over. I need to get this out. I need to get this out because I think this one.
While you're doing that, let me just specify again, going back to the whole kit arsenal thing. Why I was saying like I like his kit. I really like speedsters. It just kind of fits me.
The last thing. He's a bad dad.
He's not a bad dad. He was just dead.
You set your son up for failure by giving him to a drunk.
No.
Yeah.
No. He told Hiruzen to take care of Naruto.
You gave him to a drunk. It doesn't matter. Would you give a crackhead $1,000?
Okay, hold on. Do I have like a shit ton of money? Like, am I rich in this scenario?
No. Actually, even if it doesn't matter. Yes,
it does. Because if I was rich in this scenario, I would give a crackhead $1,000 just to see what they would do.
You're evil for that.
How am I evil?
You're literally, you know.
I'm curious, not evil.
You know what they're gonna do. You're wanting to see it in person. Yes, you are. You're evil. Okay.
I don't know. Maybe they're gonna do something really crazy. I don't know.
All right, cool. Better question. Would you agree that it has been established that Hiruzen was basically a drunk, and not a drunk, but I think that's nodding. He wasn't trying for a very long time. He stopped trying to be Hokage well before Minato even became Hokage. That's well established.
See, I'm a little bit fuzzy on this right now because I don't recall it being that way. I could be wrong, so that's why it's like I'm not saying too much.
I want it to be fair. So we'll nullify that. It's not well established. Would you agree that he was not trying in the beginning of part 1 of Naruto?
What, trying to take care of Naruto?
Trying to be a good person. In general. So that's included.
To be honest, yeah, he was. Like, hold on. Before you get into Shippuden, before you get into everything that he actually did, he really seemed like he was a genuinely good Hokage. Like, nobody had this idea of, oh, he's a piece of shit.
Is it because of the fact that there was peace? Because there could very well be just because it was peace. So no one had anything to complain about.
It could be.
Like him being a good Hokage, whether someone's a good Hokage needs to be factored in. There's a lot of factors that determine whether or not they're a good Hokage. Because if there's no conflict going on and there's no reason for the Hokage to make decisions that's going to impact the greater people, then you can't say that's why no one says whether or not Kakashi is a good Hokage, because nothing was happening when he was Hokage in Boruto. It's the reason why people don't really mention Tobirama as a good Hokage, because one, he's a bad Hokage, but even if you take out the bad things he did, he definitely wouldn't be good because nothing was happening. So you can't. I don't think it's fair to say whether or not
stuff happening for his Hokage.
Like what?
One of the Great Wars. Literally the one that he died in.
Oh yeah. prior to that, I guess. Told y'all this was going to be very rough. Just
It's like nothing was going on. Man, literally died in a war. What do you mean nothing was going on?
so, all right, look, but you get what I'm trying to say, right?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, if nothing's happening, then you don't have anything to base his Hokage status on. Now, granted, towards the end of Part 1, things started happening with Orochimaru and stuff like that. But everything that happened prior to that, you can't base it off of. So he had no reason to be have Naruto get treated with that. And he had no reason to put Sasuke in a fucking mansion. He had no reason to let his son's relationship falter like that. His relationship with Asuma is hot trash. Your son smokes a pack of cigarettes a day, and you're not doing anything about that? Like, what? Like, so while he's good Hokage because everybody's happy as a indirect result of peace, not because of direct actions of him. Does that make sense?
Sort of.
Like, he's not leading to people's happiness. Peace is, but he's not responsible for that peace. It's just a natural thing of no conflicts happening.
In Part 1, he was trying to make sure he instilled in the next generation how to have and maintain that peace. He was trying to stick with the kids and everything and grow them up right. So he was actually
trying to stick with the kids by giving Naruto his rent money.
I can't argue that one.
You gave a child all of the money for the month on the first of the month.
Okay. So we'll never defend how he treats Naruto because that's absolute shit. We all know this. If you don't know this,
I'm not gonna say his name, but M. MY. So he defends the third, right?
Yeah, I remember I was here for one of those conversations.
You want to break him on one day and we had that conversation?
Yes.
Okay.
But okay, where was I going?
You was like he was hanging out with the kids and trying to instill.
So he was trying to make sure that like no other great wars ever happened again. He was trying to make sure that we could maintain the peace and everything. He was doing good in that front as a Hokage. But like I said, that's before you realize everything he did before that and you realize, oh, you're just a piece of shit. But that holds the illusion of, yeah, he's a pretty good Hokage. He's doing shit that he's supposed to. He's keeping everything in check. Like nothing's happening. And then again, you get to the real shit and you're like, oh no, he's...
You also got... If I remember correctly, the signing were his students, right?
Yes.
So we got a drunk, a pedophile, and Jiraiya, a pervert.
So literally just one person, because you just named off everything that's him. Jiraiya is a drunk. Jiraiya is,
Jiraiya is the greatest out of all of them. And
yeah.
And so him being a drunk no matter.
It's arguable, but I still say he's definitely my favorite Asane.
So, like, your students all turned out drunks, weirdos, and one of them turned out evil. So you couldn't have been that good even prior to things that we found out. Because we knew that in Part 1. So, like, yeah. So, back to what we were saying. Minato left his son to that piece of shit. If Naruto would have turned out to be a drunk, Hiruzu's track record at that point is just zero. And all of this had to have been known before Minato died. And the third Hokage, I don't even think was near Minato. So you picked him.
No, what's he? Yeah, because not Minato. Hiruzen came to pick up Naruto from them afterward. So he straight up told him.
You could have been like, I'm taking this from Shinobi, right? Because it's one of my favorite points. You could have told Hiruzen to give that child to anyone else.
And he probably would have meant that.
Yeah.
Like,
literally anyone.
Because he just told him, take care of him. He didn't necessarily say, like, he had to keep him or anything. So maybe he's under the impression of, if he keeps him and does it, cool. Or maybe he'll give it to somebody else if he doesn't seem worthy. But just make sure that Naruto is straight. That was his whole
he
thing.
He didn't do either one, though.
He did not. Hiruzen is a bitch for that.
Look,
again, I'm not going to disagree with that.
All right, look. We got to realize that was my last point. Do you have any other thing that you want to say real quick?
Would it really make him a bad dad if he still sacrificed his life to make sure that his child was good?
No, we're not using the Goku argument here. No, we're not doing that because Gohan, like, we're not. You know what? I'm not going to comment on that.
Because hold on. The best part about it is Minato could have survived that attack. He actually could have walked out of there,
making him a bad dad because he left his.
That would have made him a bad dad. However, what he did instead, he used the last bit of his chakra to put into Naruto as the seal. Him and Kushina's chakra. That way, if anything were to ever happen, he were about to lose his shit, like he did with Pain, and the fox was going to come out, he could have stopped it to protect everyone and Naruto. And he put Kushina in there to eventually help him, because he knew he was going to need that help if he wanted to actually get stronger and tame the Nine Tails.
You want to know how you could have did that? By just being alive.
How's he going to help him with the Nine Tails in that case?
You dealt with the Nine Tails and Obito by yourself. I'm pretty sure just dealing with part of the Nine Tails would have been fine.
How is he going to fully train him on how to be a Jinchuriki and actually conquer the Nine Tails if he himself had not done that? Kushina did.
He didn't train. Kushina didn't do anything to help him to tame the Nine Tails outside of binding them in that mental battle that they had. That wasn't training. You subdued him.
Yes, but she is the one with the experience. That's why she was also to be there, and just also to meet each other too.
You mean the experience that just meant subduing? You didn't train him. You subdued the Nine Tails, meaning you didn't necessarily need Kushina specifically for that.
Probably not if he knew what he was doing.
He doesn't need to. Go find another Jinchuriki. Or, if the Nine Tails ever does come out, beat him into submission like you did in the mental battle. He didn't need to die for that. Okay, let me ask you a question. What did Kushina offer, specifically, in terms of training the Nine Tails that couldn't have been done by just beating up the Nine Tails?
Actually assimilating the chakras.
You telling me you couldn't just beat the Nine Tails by doing that? So, I mean,
even if you beat it, that doesn't mean the chakras are going to be together. You're still two separate entities. You just beat the fuck out of this chakra thing.
Just keep doing it. You're a ninja.
So you're just going to keep beating up... First of all, that's animal abuse. Second of all, you're going to just keep beating up this thing all the time, which isn't going to do what you actually want it to do. It's not the same result. That'd be like, okay, let's say Goku and Vegeta need to fuse to fight somebody. Are they going to fuse and get stronger, or just going to beat the fuck out of each other every single time?
Don't they do that anyway?
Yes, but does it help anything?
Yes.
Do they get that multiplier for beating the fuck out of each other?
They do. That's what the Zenkai boost is. But, fine. Whatever. I still think him being alive would have benefited Naruto more in the long run. The problems with the Jinchuriki probably would not have been sufficient enough to warrant you being dead. But I will say that there is argument to be had that Kushina helped. But all she did was subdue the Nine Tails and get the chakras together. I don't know. I just don't think that's worth the consequences. That's all I'm getting at. The consequences was your son had the worst childhood in the entire village for no reason.
To be fair, that was Danzo's fault.
And Hiruzen's fault.
Yes.
I actually blame Hiruzen more than Danzo, believe it or not.
I kind of do too, because Hiruzen knew everything that Danzo was doing. He still didn't do anything about it.
Not even that. That's not even a reason. But that adds to my reason, because I didn't even think about that. The reason I blame Hiruzen more is just because of the fact that this could have been solved by you just telling people that Naruto was Minato's son, the Fourth Hokage's son, and that the reason that the Nine Tails is in him is to save them, not for y'all to be fair. And a lot of people counter that point by saying, well, then the Akatsuki would have came after him. Train him. Naruto was stronger than Kakashi in episode of 100 of part 2. Train him. If he didn't have to train by himself for the first, I think he failed the entrance exam, 3 times?
Yeah.
If he didn't have to train by himself all that time, look how much further along. For example, the only reason why Naruto and Sasuke are relative is because Sasuke had help and Naruto didn't. If Naruto would have had help from the beginning, just like Sasuke did, they would not have ever been close. So it's like, train him. So what does the Akatsuki know? They found out anyway, and they found out quick. So, like, the consequences wasn't worth it. And then, hold on. The consequences of everybody knowing who he is does not override the benefits that would have given Naruto, because the Akatsuki knew anyway. And then on top of that, Naruto's life would have been so much better. The whole village would not have been scared of him. Everybody would have been happier. You know what's crazy? That would have made him have a good thing on his reputation as Hokage. That's my point. I've been all over the place today, but it's
well. Hold on. Are we sure that it would have made everything better if they had known that he was Jinchuriki? Because historically, the Jinchuriki are always known to be kind of more on the hated side for their village. Even Killer Bee. Everybody knew Killer Bee was the Jinchuriki, and situation with that, they still hated that motherfucker when he was growing up.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee. But what was stopping him from his training?
Yeah, I don't got anything for that one.
And then on top of that, if they was going to hate him regardless, the fact that he's the fourth Hokage's son might have lightened the blow a little bit. So I still think it would have been worth it.
Probably would also put a target on his back.
That's what I was saying earlier with the Akatsuki, but I think they found him immediately in part 1 anyway. So, what difference does it make? If they find him earlier, you're the third Hokage. You mastered all 5 chakra natures, and you know a ridiculous amount of jutsu, and you telling me you wouldn't have been able to beat Kisame? I know Kisame's strong, but he's not. I don't think he's third Hokage strong at that point in the series anyway. Kisame got a lot stronger throughout the series. No, and if the third Hokage was alive, I think he would have probably beat Pain, but that's probably contenders. You don't think he would have beat Pain?
No, I don't think so. At that point, no. You have an argument for Prime Years, and though I'm pretty sure he probably could. But
this is the time period I'm talking about, though. I'm talking about. So the only way that the third Hokage telling everybody that Naruto is Minato's son would be a problem or would drastically negatively impact the series is if the Akatsuki found him sooner. But the Akatsuki would have had to find him when Pain wasn't at full power, Kisame wasn't at full power, Itachi probably would have been technically strong because he wouldn't have been as sick, but he was a double agent anyway, so that wouldn't have mattered. Obito wouldn't have been at full power. The Akatsuki would not have been at full power, meaning we're closer to Prime Hiruzen. Meaning if Pain does show up, let's say Pain shows up the second he becomes Pain, Hiruzen probably deals with him. Pain had a lot of time to gather the Akatsuki and get all that shit situated. Whereas if he shows up immediately after finding out who Naruto is, Hiruzen probably can just deal with him. And then on top of that, if we bring this back, if Minato didn't die, Minato and Hiruzen definitely deals with Pain.
Yeah. I'm not the person Minato could have actually just taken him by himself.
That's debatable. Almighty Pull is kind of difficult to deal with.
Blind Rising.
If I pull all of the kunai to me.
So do you have the kunai from when he was fighting off in the wars? Zip. Oh, hey, I'm behind you.
Nah, we're not doing that. Because if he actually, you know what? Nah, that is a good point. All right, you got that. But yeah, all right. Sum it up. I will concede that his arsenal is versatile for the clan he was a part of. But if you take out clans, his kit's very mediocre. He just uses it absurdly effectively. That's my stance on that. As far as his decision making during the war, that one I no. You shadow clone guy, like solves all your problems. Like that's it. Shadow clone, sage mode, all that kind of stuff. As far as him being a bad dad, that's up in the air because it depends on how you want to interpret the results of him being alive. So, yeah, that's what I gotta say about that. You know anything else?
Minato is still the drip god, and he's still. But other than that, no, I don't think I got anything else.
All right, so this was fun.